Cade Cunningham reacts to the Detroit Pistons getting John Collins in this thing, bruh. You know, he reacts to them getting John Collins. So he's excited about it. I touched on it on one of the videos. I can't remember what video it was. I touched on him kind of talking about John Collins. I think we were talking about his reaction to the 76ers getting LeBron. So it said Detroit, shout out to Clutch Points. It was an exclusive interview. Detroit made some moves to improve the roster, including landing proven scorer John Collins for 3 years, $51 million from Oklahoma City and former Oklahoma City Thunder Isaiah Joe, who won a championship back in 2025. Cade detailed that he actually spent some time talking to Collins, who has averaged 15.7 per a game over the course of his career. He said, quote, "Yeah, for sure," said Cade in his one-on-one interview of If I Spoke to Collins. Quote, "Yeah, somebody I've respected for a long time since I played against him. He's somebody that stands out whenever you play against him as far as how hard he works and the skill set that he has. To have him on the team now after having took notes of him as a player that I could see myself playing with for a long time. We're excited. He felt the same way talking about me. So both of us are excited to get on the court together." So when asked what was the best thing is that the 6'9" forward brings to the table, 24-year-old Cade Cunningham said it's a single thing, but multiple things that Collins brings to the table. He said, quote, "The best thing, there isn't a single thing," said Cade. Quote, "He's going to bring more than one thing. He's going to bring a lot of different things that we need. Offense, defense, athleticism, toughness, mindset. All those things also bring a three-point shooter. How can I say what's the biggest thing? So many things he's going to bring to the table. Tobias bum ass didn't bring." I'm joking. He said that Tobias part. Look at people. Hey, he said it. He said it. So he said, well, it's a new partnership, but I mean, they're top of the line. Cade said a Thorn. I don't know who Thorn is. He said there's something immediately whenever I got to being professional was the supplement. So it's a supplement that he took. So I don't know. I was just reading the quotes. So I mean, yeah, he's excited to have so he's partnering with Thorne, Thorne, the brand known for supplements and everyday wellness. So yeah, that's what he's talking about. You know, he also got Drew Holiday partnering with them. But I mean, John Collins, he's been a guy that's been an all-star 1910 guy. He's been also a guy that's complained about what's y'all boy name? He's complained about, Trae Young. He's complained about him not passing the ball, being ball dominant. He left Utah. Then guess what? The next generation started complaining about Trae ball hogging and shit. So, I mean, it is what it is, bro. I really like John Collins. It was kind of a guy that, for years they had been, conversating about getting. Really wasn't a fan of really getting him in past years, but at this point, it makes sense. If he can give you anywhere near the 10 rebounds that he usually averages, if he can give you 10 rebounds, that's a huge upgrade from Tobias, who gave you about 5 or 6. Last year, he got a career low, about 5.8 rebounds with the Clippers. I don't know what happened, but if he can get to 10 rebounds, and I know I'm speaking on, a point that most people are not going to speak on about John Collins, but if he can give you 10 rebounds and Duran going to give you about 10 rebounds, that's a huge upgrade. Duran need to be around 12, 13 rebounds with that ability. And I think Collins can be another 20 and 10 guy in this situation. In reality, they are saying Asar is going to develop and Duran is going to develop. We've seen this summer that they have developed some. That's what we have seen. But other than that, we know Collins can post up. We know Collins can shoot the three. We know Collins can rebound at a high clip. We know he athletic, get up and down the court. And when you add Collins with Duran and Asar Thompson and whoever starts next to Cade Cunningham, one thing you know for sure, they're going to have to push the pace next year. Collins don't change that. That's one thing that JB going to preach to Cade. Like, we got to push the pace more because, the guys is going to benefit. Everybody on that court can get up and down and run on this team, and that's our benefit. So, Collins is a big addition. Somebody he already knew he played against. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. You get more spacing. Tobias can give you much spacing at that three. He was a capable three-point shooter, but he wasn't no knockdown three-point shooter. Collins also somebody who was almost a 20-10 guy in the league. So you have two guys that can get you 20 and 10. Him and Duren. Somebody get space to a little Duren. I think Isaiah Joe is probably going to be the starting two guard, just from his overall versatility, his ability, his athleticism, his ability to shoot. You're gonna have a sorry time. So it's a good mix, with Joe, with Duren, with Joe, and with Collins out there. I think Cade to be improved. I think Dennis to be improved. And I think you hope that Asar, Ron, or Duren takes another step offensively or two. You should be okay. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. But yeah, Collins, at this point, he's an upgrade over Tobias Harris, and people just talk about, it's a good move, but it's an upgrade from the standpoint of he's a higher most years he's been an all-star. He's been a 20-19-10 guy. He's been a high rebound getter. He brings more athleticism, and he's a knockdown shooter. So it's a huge upgrade. It's just that, can you get that jump from Ron Hollins, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham? Can you get that jump from Dennis Jenkins? Can Ibuka give you something? And ultimately, I think at this trade deadline, they're going to be a lot more aggressive in making it happen. I think so. They're going to be a lot. That's why you see the contracts that they signed with Herter and these guys. And Torian, they're going to be a lot more aggressive. And if they win it, they may not be aggressive. They're around one of the league's highest winners, which I think they may be again. They may not make nothing happen. But hey, hit the link in the description. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.
Detroit, how's Detroit coming back next year? They've lost a couple pieces, brought a couple pieces in. You're losing Tobias. I think that's going to be big for them. They're going to have to depend on John Collins a lot. And this is a big jump for John. He was starting for years and then kind of went to the bench and Utah sometimes started and came off the bench some last year for the Clippers. He back being depended on in a major way. There was a lot of people questioned that move by the Pistons. So John got to show up.
John Collins is now a Detroit Piston, which means Cade, Asar, John Collins, and Jalen Duren is 4 of your 5 guys in your starting lineup. Now the question is, who's going to be that 5th guy? Hopefully it's Trey Murphy or Michael Porter Jr. There's a good chance that this John Collins deal is a sign and trade part of a much bigger deal. But I like the fit with John Collins as a guy who shot 44% last year on corner threes compared to Tobias Harris's 32%. He's not afraid to attack the rim and go put somebody on a poster. And if you look at that starting lineup of those 4 guys, you got 4 guys totally capable of putting a guy on a poster at any point. With Cade Cunningham, there might be some sort of discount lob city with him throwing to Asar, John Collins, and Jalen Duren. Tobias Harris was awesome in the playoffs last year, but John Collins is a better off-ball player than Tobias Harris was. It was always the most upgradable spot on the starting lineup, and for $17 million a season, this is a heck of a contract, especially considering the final 2 years of it are non-guaranteed. It's another single for Trajan Langdon. The offense is going to be better with the additions of Ibuka, Corey, and Isaiah Joe, now John Collins into this mix as well. I think both from a half-court and full-court perspective, it's a better offense. Now Trajan needs that extra base hit to come at some point. That's how the Pistons get over the top. This is a nice start. I like John Collins.
Pistons could have signed a one-legged dog, and the people who cover this team would cape up for it. I swear to you. What I'm reading today about John Collins is the equivalent of some revisionist history, some form of basketball porno. Here's an idea for all the people who think they're so smart about hoops and ball knowers. Take your hands off yours and pull up the metrics. There is nothing metrically to suggest that John Collins is even a better player than Tobias Harris. This is the definition of a lateral move. John Collins does not create his own shot. Tobias did. John Collins shoots a slightly higher percentage from 3, but one problem. He's a low-volume shooter. When you take 3 and make 40% to 37% from Tobias, it doesn't translate the same way. If you're a high-volume player taking on average 7.5 threes, in the aggregate, it makes a big difference. Right. John Collins is a worse defensive player. If you just want to do the lowbrow thing of, but he's younger. Once again, the data's the data. You want to tell me John Collins is tougher? We're not going to take any stuff. We're going to go belt to ass. You can do all that. This is my issue. These are sideways moves. You're not worse. This whole thing started with big game hunting. Where did we go from Trajan with an elephant gun to Trajan shooting squirrels with a BB gun?